Hi guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me for this video. I'm Michelle and I'm an author, coach, and advocate, empowering you to find and follow your design. In today's video, I want to share with you some of my thinking about the power of the universe, your connection to it in terms of your intuition, and your ability to know what you need and your own truth. So I wanted to spend today really sharing with you my thoughts about my belief in the power of the universe and your ability to connect to that. So what I wanted to start off with is really just an overview. When I use the word universe, what do I mean by that? What does that mean for you? What language might work for you if the universe itself doesn't work? And then really go into what it is that the universe offers and our part in it. So first off, when I say the word universe, I use it in a universal way, specifically to avoid using words that might limit us otherwise. Some of us may have been familiar with words like God that may have connotations that don't feel comfortable to us anymore. Some of us might prefer to use words like Allah, Jehovah, which are just other ways to say the word God as well. Some may feel more comfortable with goddess. Some may feel more comfortable with an idea of a universal love, or a greater energy, or maybe great spirit or a creator. But whatever it is, where I come from with this is the fact that I do not believe that this beautiful world that we live in was man-made, and so therefore, even if we can't put a name or an understanding to what that is, there is something greater that's out there in force. And I think that also may, be of assistance even for those of you guys who may be agnostic or atheist, saying I don't believe in a God. I would agree with you that in that sense. I don't believe in the same God you don't believe in terms of I don't believe that many of the ways that we have understood God in our human terms, that those are really encompass the immensity of what is possible in a something and in an energy that would have created everything that is. I believe it's unknowable. I believe that it is loving and caring, not vindictive. And coming from that stance then helps you to understand some of the background of how I happen to use that word. Now, if another word works for you, or if understanding that there is a universe or a divine creator doesn't work for you, that's fine as well. But I want to share with you about this, and whatever resonates with you is what you can take away. What I want to share is that in a world and in a universe that was created by a divine creator, nothing is by accident and everything is as it needs to be. Now, does that mean that there aren't tragedies and traumas and things that happen? No. Absolutely, those are truly in existence. And there is still a greater understanding that there is everything that's needed in the world. It is man, it is people, it is society who have created systems and inequalities and structures that make that abundance not accessible to everyone. And so that's where you will see some of that lack that's out there. But rather focusing on the fact that in our lives, when it is time for us to make a decision or determine who it is we are, or follow our design, or figure out the best way to raise our children, or anything you can think of, where should I live, that there is an abundance of possibilities that are out there. And that rather than seeing that as, oh, that's overwhelming, that's too much, which is natural, rather focusing on our noble self, which I've shared with in previous videos, that being our soul, that being connected to the divine, that our noble self says, ooh, this is curious, this is exciting, I wonder what this is going to be, instead of, oh gosh, I don't know, it's the unknown, and that scares me. That's come from a place of the shadow self. So moving into this space of really seeing and embracing over time, it's a muscle to be developed to really live in a place of abundance is a pretty powerful place to be. One of the first times I was introduced to this was a friend of mine had just moved to a new city. And this story still sticks with me because she had said to me, I've moved, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to see how the universe makes sure that I have a car. Now, she moved there, she didn't have a vehicle, she didn't have money for a vehicle, and actually didn't even have a new job yet. So there was almost no way for her to get a car, but she was in this place of abundance and just said, I'm just so interested and so curious to see, because I trust that something is going to happen, it's going to work itself out, and I'm going to see what it is. Okay, so I remember hearing her say that and thinking, oh gosh, okay, because I wasn't in that place at all. I didn't understand that concept at all. A little while later, I talked with her and I said, what ended up happening? And she goes, well, I realized that for all the places I needed to get to, most of it I could walk, and then when I wanted to get to various community events, I made some friends in the community, and one in particular person lives quite near to me, and so offered to drive. So she's like, I actually didn't need to get a car. She's like, so the universe actually provided my need, but if I had said I need a car specifically, then and gone through like the planning and the details and oh gosh, I can only afford X, Y, and Z, then she wouldn't have been open to seeing alternatives, to seeing the curiosity of, well, how is the universe going to make this happen? Because really, her need wasn't a car. Her need was, how am I going to get around? So that was a pretty novel way of looking at it. And, the universe did provide. And what's interesting about this story is that she became close friends with this person who was driving her around everywhere. And a few years later, ended up being the person she ended up marrying. Now, again, had she closed herself off and said, I just need a car to get around, that relationship, that friendship may not have grown in the same way. Who knows, right? You never know how that all works out. But I think that story for me always remains a really good example to me of how, when I'm getting a little bit, holding on tight and trying to figure out, like, how am I going to do this thing? For instance, I recently moved. And it took us months and months to find a place. And there were moments when I was like, oh, we just have to find the right place. If only we keep looking in a certain way. And I was trying to kind of like organize it or whatever, just kind of really will my way through it. But when I would continue to kind of go back to abundance, I was like, okay, I'm so excited. I'm curious to see how this is all going to work out. It's going to be this wonderful process to see what happens. And we ended up finding the most glorious place we could absolutely live, with many things involved and many things that we didn't even know we were looking for now in the place we're at. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, what I also wanted to share in today's video, in addition to really my understanding about the universe and the abundance that's there, I also want to share that just in the story I just shared about my own moving, we don't always remember that, and that's okay. So as always, with everything, we always have compassion with ourselves. As we're understanding things, as we're seeing, oh, I want to be from a place of abundance and I'm not right now, that's cool. Just let it be. Just support yourself, just be compassionate, just know that you can try again the next day, just know that you can try to, add things in to feel more loving towards yourself so that the noble self starts to show up more and less of the shadow self, which I've shared a little bit more in other videos, and I hope you can watch those if you haven't seen them already. The other thing that I want to share with you is my belief, absolute fundamental belief, that each one of you, each one of us, because we have our noble self, because we have our soul, because we are connected to the divine, and because we are connected to our intuition, we have all the answers that we need. So just like there's an abundance in the universe, there's an abundance in ourselves. There are limitless answers to the questions and the quandaries and the wonderings and the plannings and the things that we're trying to solve in our own lives. And that just like we accept or are curious about what the universe will provide, we end up going internal to our own universe and we get curious about what's there. Now, I've mentioned before that what's there is both the noble self and the shadow self, and learning how to navigate between the two and understanding how to love both of them and who to listen to. It's a whole conversation, and there's going to be lots of videos on here about all of that and different facets of it. But what I want to share with you is that when you are able to fully feel like, oh, this is my noble self, this is that feeling I get when she or he, or honestly, actually, I believe the soul is genderless, so they, but choose whatever pronoun you would like for your soul. When they are here and when I can feel their guidance, it feels this way in my body, the language they use is this way, the voice that they use, okay, I can tell this is them. Okay, cool. That when you do that being open and curious to there being a whole possibility of answers to your questions. What should I be doing? What is my design? Where do I move forward? How does this work? To be open to things revolving and resolving themselves in a certain way that may surprise you, and being excited by that process instead of holding on tightly and trying to make things a certain way, which is how I spent 40 years of my life, so I'm totally in the same boat with you on that if you're still there. But really knowing that you really have everything you need. So as I've mentioned, I think I mentioned in the one of the last videos, and you'll see in various videos in general, that I offer courses. I have a community that I'm building. I also do personal coaching. And all of my work with people, I don't expect to be the expert on you. I already know that you are the expert on yourself, or you're working to become that. That you have the answers within you, and that my job is to create a space for you to be able to excavate them and find them and celebrate them and maybe bounce some ideas off, and also be in a space with somebody who, as you're trying to excavate and learn about your own noble self, I believe that the noble selves, because we are all connected to the divine, all feel similarly, right? We are centered, we are curious, we are excited about the world. And so I have found, and my clients have told me, that being with me, where, thank God, for the most part, my noble self is who shows up. And of course my shadow is always there, but I don't need them to be speaking that much anymore. So I'm in my noble self most of the time. And so I create a space where then my clients have said they feel like they're more connected to their own noble self. And it's not because it's about me. It's because there's a frequency or a resonance or oh, I know that feeling. Oh, I felt that over here. Oh, that's the same thing. Okay, that's how I know this is. I will also say that the answers inside of you are bigger and grander and more exciting than you would expect. And the reason I share that is because of my own journey, of my own transformation, and going ahead and writing a book when I never imagined myself as an author, and doing all these things and starting a YouTube channel and all of these things that felt too big for me. That's because it was my shadow self saying, nah, just stay here in the corner, it's safe, don't worry, don't make a splash, don't be anything important. My shadows, or my noble self, when I started to know her better, she was like, we are about transformation. We've done it ourselves. I want to share it with everyone in the world. And it was scary at first to lean into that. But I will notice when I've met somebody who is fully them, fully authentic, fully big. And that big doesn't mean loud and brash. It just means fully, like you just around them and you just know that they're just themselves. Then I know that they are operating more and more from their noble self, because they are more of themselves. They've had to overcome barriers to getting out of their own way, to being afraid, to trying to, be small in the world. But the more they got bigger and the more they took up space and the more they were who they were and they were able to share whatever their design is, whatever that might be, then the more that their noble self got stronger and stronger. So I believe and trust that you have everything you need. You have it inside of you. You have it in the universe. All is well. And I'm so glad you've joined me for this video, and I hope that you continue to watch and learn, and that some of this is inspiring to you. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to my channel. If you're already subscribed, please press the bell button so that you'll be notified of all future videos. If you want to follow me on social media, learn how to purchase my book, how to join my community, and take any of the courses that I have to offer, please check the description under this video. Thanks for joining this video, and glad to have you here.